Good evening, chat. Well, actually, afternoon at this point. Good afternoon. A little different. We normally not this early, but yeah, good afternoon, everybody. At times it feels like we're just kind of gawking at the car crash as it goes by, but this is stuff we have to address, and it's not pleasant. It's not. I mean, I think it has to be done. I think it has to be done at this point. So, yeah, welcome to the show, and we are here. Why were you upside down? Because my camera gets all weird. Especially because it's all like computer generated stuff. So it'll do that every once in a while here. I don't know why it does that. But anyways, welcome guys. We are going to get into here the hold on, I gotta reach down and grab my earplug fell down. That was great. So anyways, we are going to cover the Tyler Robinson arraignment. And if you guys are new here to the show, we've been covering it. You know, Tyler Robinson, he is the alleged assassin. I mean, alleged in the sense of technically he hasn't been convicted of it yet. But yes, he's the guy who murdered Charlie Kirk. He's the guy who shot him down. And he's having his arraignment today. In addition to the arraignment, the charging document, the information they're using has been released today. In addition to that, and we can read that. And there's a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff in that. It tells us a lot about what happened, and we can get some information out of this. And I think it's going to be very, very good. Yes, Gene. Yes, some stuff got dropped against Luigi. That's something we could probably cover at another point here, maybe later tonight. But yes, we are going to be covering this, and like I said, the information gives us a lot of information. Why is the left tripling down on this? I mean, because it is what it is. And Hella says holy presumption of guilt, Batman. I mean, like, well, what? Oh, it might turn out he's totally innocent all along. Like, come on now. Like, there's nothing wrong with passing judgment based on the information you have in front of you. I mean, that's what we're going to do here. You have to be able to do that. So, but yeah, why is the left tripling down? Because they got nowhere else to go. They have to admit, oh, this is our fault. They have to have that moment of Hans, are we the baddies? And yes, they are the baddies. They are the baddies. And they're having to have that realization, and they don't want to have it. So there we go. Had to tone down the saturation for a second. I don't know what happened there. So we'll fix that. Anyways, guys, welcome to the show. My name is Sean, also known as Potentially Criminal. I'm an attorney in the Cleveland, Ohio area. And yeah, today we are going to get into this. Now, the arraignment is super fast. It's not very involved, guys. He gets notified of his charges, what's going on. And yeah, that's all. It's going to be super short. More important is what's in the charging document. So we're going to get to that. But anyways, here we go. Don't forget to lick the stream. I would rather you not. I would rather you not lick it. I would rather you not lick it. So this is the stream here. And he admitted it, but not to me or you, and not in court. So he hasn't admitted it yet. But yes, there's quite a bit of evidence that is pretty damning against him. So let's get to what we do here. So here we go.
At the conclusion of the hearing, for the first case, the court will take a recess and remind all those who are scheduled for the first appearance calendar to log back in 15 minutes after the court has taken a recess. As a general note, no electronic usage is allowed unless pre-approved. Any disruptions will be removed. To the jail, are we ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Calling case 251.
Now, Chad, he doesn't have an attorney yet. There's a preliminarily appointed attorney that's going to be involved here. But people have already talked to him saying, look, hi, I'm so-and-so. The name we're going to hear is kind of familiar if you pay attention to things. I think it's somebody we're familiar with. But he's been told, just shut up. The judge is not going to ask you to say anything. And that's the easiest thing, and that makes the most sense here. Just shut up. Don't say a word.
1403576. State of Utah versus Tyler James Robinson. Could you state your name?
Tyler James Robinson.
Now, that's all he's allowed to say. Like, that's all they're going to want him to say. But he has to say that part. But yeah, don't talk about anything else. Just who you are, and that's just meant to verify who you are.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Robinson. I'm Judge Graff. Mr. Scortis.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. You're probably already aware of my presence or why I'm here, but if not, I am not entering an appearance. I'm not counsel on this case. I'm working with the county to get counsel assigned, but we need you to allow for the appointment of counsel.
Thank you, Mr. Scortis. It is...
Now, if you guys are familiar with the farms, yes, that is Greg Scortis. That Greg Scortis. Isn't that kind of funny?
Well, I want to go through the qualifications
Absolutely.
for indigency, but that is my intent, Mr. Scortis.
Very well.
And I thank you for being here. So, Mr. Robinson, you have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, the court can appoint an attorney to represent you. I have reviewed your declaration of financial status and find that you are indigent. I'm provisionally appointing a Rule 8 qualified attorney to represent you on your case, Mr. Robinson. Along with their filing of their appearance of counsel, the assigned attorneys must file declarations with the court that outline their qualifications under Rule 8 and Rule 8C, under Rule 8B and Rule 8C for counsel appointment in a case where death may be a sentencing option. I'm ordering that those declarations be filed prior to the next hearing date, which is set for September 29th at 10 a.m.
All right, guys. So real quick, Greg Scortis is an attorney in Utah. He is famous for helping the farms deal with initially the Russell Greer case. He's also famous for going after Russell Greer, I believe, in the Ariana Grande case, where he tried to sue Ariana Grande and beat his ass in court. So that's why Greg Scortis has some lore with the Kiwi farms. And if you need more, I mean, you can Google it, but he's out there. He has a history with the lol cows. Now, what did this judge just talk about as far as being qualified? So when it comes to being qualified, as an attorney to take court-appointed cases, even as a public defender, to try certain cases, you have to have certain levels of experience. And when it comes to death penalty cases, you have to be what's called death penalty certified. And that is differing from state to state to state. But you have to have specific experience because death penalty cases are very difficult. They are very time consuming. And we need to make sure we get it right. And each state has this. And you can't just be involved in that. But it's a formal process for defense attorneys to get training. They go through classes and they go through how it works. Now, like, for example, you're going to have multiple counsel. You're generally going to get 2 attorneys. You have to demonstrate you have previous experience doing, trying murder cases, for example, that you've tried a bunch of stuff on your own. Here, like, and I don't know Utah's, and I tried looking them up beforehand, but there's all kinds of stuff you need to try death penalty cases. And the way it works in felony murder, in capital cases, you have to serve as counsel or co-counsel in like at least one capital murder case that was tried to a jury and resulted in a verdict before you're allowed to be on your own. But before you even get to that part, you have to have minimum years of experience. So for example, in Ohio, it's like 10 years experience, and you need to have multiple murder trials taking a jury verdict where you were lead counsel or co-counsel. It's why when you guys see these cases, it's always older attorneys. It is a very, very hard process to get done. Then on top of that, hours and hours and hours of specific CLE training that obviously counts towards their continuing legal education requirements. But it's different. It's not just the regular stuff everybody else takes. So it all depends where you're at. Every state's a little different, but there are very, very stringent requirements. Maddie said, are you death penalty certified or not? No, I have not had enough opportunity in murder cases to do that. I've only been 11 years an attorney. Like that would be other than a prosecutor, you're probably not going to get that kind of action as an attorney. What about the judge? Do they have to be a lawyer? Yes, Adam. Yes. Yes, they have to be lawyers. If you're talking about all that stuff that happened in North Carolina, yes. And there are some states where magistrates don't need law degrees. But I'm not aware of any state nowadays that lets a judge be a judge without a law degree. So, anyways, am I furry certified? No, and I'm glad I'm not.
Mr. Robinson, I also wish to inform you of your right against self-incrimination. Anything that you say in court today could be used against you, and we want to protect your constitutional rights. Mr. Robinson, at this time, you will remain in custody without bail. Mr. Skortis, is there any other points that you wish to address?
No, thank you very much, Your Honor.
Turning to the state.
Yes, Your Honor. Chad Grunander for the state. I'm also joined, and they're listed as attendees, Ryan McBride, Lauren Hunt, David Sturgill, and Chris Ballard. We are the trial team on this case. I do have a few points I'd like to bring up with Your Honor. We have filed a pretrial protective order on behalf of Erica Kirk. We would ask the court to review that. It should be in your queue, Your Honor, and sign that.
Thank you. I have reviewed the pretrial protective order and will be issuing this pretrial protective order in favor of Erica Kirk. Is there any other business that we need to address today, counsel?
Just for the court's information, we did file just recently, within the last few minutes, a notice of intent to seek the death penalty that was filed by Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray. So that should be in the court's file. Lastly, I would just indicate to the court and to, at this point, Mr. Robinson, that we are prepared to collect all of the discovery in this matter and get that turned over to the defense as soon as possible. Rule 16 requires us to provide what we have relied on in charging the information in bringing these charges within 5 days once it's requested. So that'll be prepared to disseminate to the defense as soon as possible.
Thank you, Mr. Grunander. Mr. Robinson, what I also want to do is you have the right to have the charges read that you stand charged of, and I wish to read those to you at this time. Thank you.
Guys, when they talk about the protective order for Erica Kirk, that's Charlie's wife, and they want an order that, you know, basically she's to be left the fuck alone. Because they don't need people harassing her. She is a victim in this case. Charlie got murdered, yes, but the family members are considered victims under most states' statutes. So it's a protective order, meaning that, you know, if people start trying to harass her, they could go after her. Like, there's protection orders out there, that there are protective orders in place to protect her and other people from going after her. So, let's see here. Chad sounds like he cares about his job. Well, that's because he's professional. So, will YouTube have mod your chat? Yes, YouTube does that because we don't. So.
Mr. Robinson, for count 1, aggravated murder, a capital felony in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-5-202, in that on September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, intentionally or knowingly caused the death of Charlie Kirk under the following circumstances. The defendant knowingly created a great risk of death to another individual other than Charlie Kirk and the defendant. Notice conviction of this offense may carry the death penalty or pursuant to Utah Code 76-3-207.7, a mandatory term of imprisonment for life without parole or an indeterminate term of not less than 25 years, that may be for life. Victim targeting enhancement in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-3-203.14 sub 2. Tyler James Robinson intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because of Tyler James Robinson's belief or perception regarding Charlie Kirk's political expression. Notice if the trier of fact finds beyond a reasonable doubt that the victim targeting enhancement applies, the sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider the defendant's selection of the victim as an aggravating factor. Violent offense committed in the presence of a child aggravating factor, the sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider as an aggravating factor in their deliberations that the defendant committed a violent criminal offense in the presence of a child. Count 2, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, a first-degree felony in violation of Utah Code Annotated 76-11-210 sub 2 and 3C, in that on September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant Tyler James Robinson discharged a firearm in the direction of Charlie Kirk, knowing or having reason to believe that Charlie Kirk may be endangered by the discharge of the firearm and that the act caused serious bodily injury to Charlie Kirk. Victim targeting enhancement in violation of Utah Code Annotated 76-3-203.14 sub 2. Tyler James Robinson intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because Tyler James Robinson's belief or perception regarding Charlie Kirk's political expression. Notice if the trier of fact finds beyond a reasonable doubt that the victim targeting enhancement applies, the sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider the defendant's selection of the victim as an aggravating factor. Violent offense committed in the presence of a child aggravating factor. The sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider an aggravating factor in their deliberations that the defendant committed a violent offense in the presence of a child. Count 3, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony in violation of Utah Code Annotated 76-8-306 sub 2, in that on September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant Tyler James Robinson, with intent to hinder, delay, or prevent the investigation, apprehension, prosecution, conviction, or pursuant to any person regarding conduct that constitutes a criminal offense, conceal or remove the firearm used to shoot Charlie Kirk, and the conduct that constitutes an offense would be a capital felony or a first-degree felony. Count 4, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony in violation of Utah Code 76-8-306 sub 2, in that on or about September 11th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, with an intent to hinder, delay, or prevent the investigation, apprehension, prosecution, conviction, or punishment of any person regarding conduct that constitutes a criminal offense, destroyed, concealed, or removed the clothing he wore during the shooting, and the conduct that constitutes an offense would be a capital felony or first-degree felony. Count 5, tampering with a witness, a third-degree felony in violation of Utah Code Annotated 76-8-508, in that on or about September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, believed that an official proceeding or investigation was pending or about to be instituted or intended to prevent an official proceeding or investigation and attempted to induce or otherwise cause his roommate to withhold testimony, information, a document, or an item, to wit, directing his roommate to delete incriminating text messages. Count 6, tampering with a witness, a third-degree felony in violation of Utah Code Annotated 76-8-508, in that on or about September 11th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, believed that an official proceeding or investigation was pending or about to be instituted or intended to prevent an official proceeding or investigation and attempted to induce or otherwise cause his roommate to withhold testimony or information, to wit, directing his roommate to stay silent if the police questioned the roommate. Count 7, violent offense committed in the presence of a child, a Class A misdemeanor in violation of Utah Code Annotated 76-3-203.10 sub 2 and 3-203.14 sub 3A little double I, in that on or about September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, committed criminal homicide in the physical presence of a child younger than 14 years of age, with knowledge that a child was present and that may have been seen or heard the commission.
That means Charlie Kirk's kids watched him. As we had heard the stories that he had gotten killed right in front of his older child, and she tried to run to him. That kind of confirms it.
Of the criminal homicide, victim targeting enhancement in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-3-203.14 sub 2, Tyler James Robinson intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because of Tyler James Robinson's belief or perception regarding Charlie Kirk's political expression. That concludes reading the information. Mr. Robinson, this case is set for September 29th at 10 a.m. It will be a waiver hearing, and I will be the judge assigned to this case. Mr. Robinson, I invite you to join us at that time. Is there anything further, counsel?
No, Your Honor, we'll have counsel appointed by then. Thank you.
Mr. Gurander, anything further?
One item, just for clarification, Your Honor, the hearing on the 29th, is that in person or WebEx?
Thank you. That is a great question. It will be via WebEx.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
All right. I want to thank all parties for being here, and this concludes this hearing at this time. Court is in recess.
All right.
Okay, real quick, chat. Somebody says he's bald. Guilty on all charges. No, that's the prosecutor. This guy up here in the top right corner in the brown coat is helping trying to get him attorneys lined up. So the guy on top is the prosecutor anyway. So you're still kind of correct. Anyways, that is the hearing. Further live coverage is expected. I don't know if there's been any other updates. So we're just going to kind of, the live event has ended. So we are going to get to that. But let's get some of you guys' comments here. Fair Frozen 55 for $5. Good to see you, man. It says, neat, just got in a few minutes behind. Glad to see you streaming this. Yeah, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Jefferson Post says, the sector keeps seeping into the mainstream. Yes. Yes. I texted Null. I was like, hey man, check this shit out. Yo. I'm sure that's what Null needs right now. Jules has been a member for 4 months. So thank you for being here, by the way, Jules. I don't like it. He should have to stay in there. He's going to stay in there. He's not getting out. He's not getting bond. No Sir San is saying, it's good to see you, by the way, man. It's been a little while. Hope you're doing well. Since this is a death penalty case, will there be a lot of Gen Pop during trial or kept separate? He is 100% being kept in segregation. He is not going to be allowed to interact with anybody. He is not going to be allowed. There is too much risk for that. He will not be allowed to interact. He is going to be kept in, confinement. He is going to be kept on 23-1. He's not being put in Gen Pop. That would be too risky. And part of the reason why he's not a Gen Pop is the clothing he's wearing. And this is something Rodeo is saying, why is he dressed like that? Is that a straitjacket? No. What he is wearing is called a suicide smock. And this is what a suicide smock is. It's basically something you cannot hang yourself with. Because if you have a pair of pants, guess what you could do? You can hang yourself with it. If you have underwear, you can hang yourself with it. If you have a bra, guess what? You can hang yourself with it. If you have a shirt, you can hang yourself with it. That's why you don't get to take your belt into a jail. You don't have shoelaces in certain situations. They are concerned about suicide. And this thing, think of it as it's like a moving blanket. And this is actually another good picture here. It's like a moving blanket in what it is. So if you look at it, see, it's very rigid. It's not very, it's like a moving blanket. And it's got Velcro, and you wear it, and that's what he's wearing. and they're concerned about him killing himself. And even if he said, even if he hasn't said he's going to do it, there's a high risk of it, and they don't want that to happen. So they make him wear that, and he's going to wear that probably until if he goes to trial, and then he's going to wear normal clothes. But for now, that's all he's going to wear. And those are rough. They are cold. They're itchy. They're not comfortable. And if you're in one of those, you're already in isolation because you have to be on suicide watch. Like, you can't be a Gen Papa while he's on. Some booty warrior find you and, have his way with you. So anyways, yes, these are called suicide smocks. They're all different colors. And yeah, when you're wearing one, you kind of look like that lady who's kind of like, oh my God, what has my life turned into? That's what you're thinking at that moment. That's what you're thinking at that moment. So that's what you're thinking. Oh, Jules I meant unalive. He should have to stay in prison. Oh yeah, he's never getting out of prison. He's never going to get out of prison. So yeah, he could get booty gooned. Groat says, what do you mean if he goes to trial? He might play out. You never know. Yes, do I use this to eat sandwiches? Sure, because it's everything brushes off. Why wasn't Epstein wearing one of these? Because there's also places they give you like paper thin clothing. Although they probably didn't think Epstein was a hanging threat. So, let's see here. That's my vacation wear. Yeah, it's perfect for the beach. Dogsplaining says Mutt's Law is alive in Cleveland. I see. Well, yeah, of course it is. Can you request a trial by combat? No. No, you cannot. Deputy Doombringer says they're not seeking the death penalty. They are seeking the death penalty. They are 100% seeking it. So, Edie Ed 2276 says, could he plead to avoid the death penalty? That doesn't do it. Pleading doesn't automatically get you out of it. We remember, guys, Nicholas Cruz, the shooter in Parkland, Florida. He pled out and he still faced the death penalty. Now the jury spared his life, but pleading out doesn't automatically mean the death penalty goes away. Normally it does, but there's no requirement. No requirement. Yeah, the state's only going to offer death. I think that's correct, Ferdinand. Yeah, the Utah's a firing squad. Yes. Yep, they do. Will Destiny apply for a conjugal visit? Maybe. Maybe. Do you think he's going to get the death penalty? Probably. Probably. So, what will his co-conspirators on Discord get? We're going to have to find out because we don't know everything. But now we're going to get into, guys, the interesting stuff. The charging document, the information, which is a lot of stuff in it. A lot of stuff in it. And we're going to get to that now. So here we go. Here we go. This is the charging document for Tyler Robinson. And it reads very interesting. When we get to the actual story, we're going to do this. Now, guys, this is called an information. This is not an indictment. This means this is a charging document the prosecutor filed with the court. And this is acceptable to do. Not every state allows for this. For example, Hella says, do you have the documents? I don't know what you mean. I have the information. If you have other stuff, please send it my way because I don't know what you're talking about. But anyways, this is an information, meaning it's a charging document. It's not an indictment. The grand jury has not been convened, and it might not need to be convened. Some states, though, it does. Like I said, in Ohio, you can only be charged with a felony by grand jury. Some states allow for an information to be filed. Utah is one of them. And Tyler's James Robinson. That is him. His date of birth, 4/16 of 2003. You know what? He's almost got Hitler's birthday. Oh, he really is a Nazi. So the offenses here, they allege aggravated murder, a capital felony, meaning he's eligible for the death penalty. They say that on or about, September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, he did intentionally or knowingly cause the death of Charlie Kirk. And it says they said under the circumstance, he created great risk of death to another individual other than Charlie Kirk and the defendant. And they say that conviction of this may carry the death penalty, or a mandatory term of life imprisonment for life without parole, or an indeterminate term of not less than 25 years, and that may not be for life. So you can get a couple different options here of life without parole, or you get 25 to life. Which, okay. There's a victim targeting enhancement, although most murders are targeted. So, but yes, this must be specifically under Utah law that allows for this, that he intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because of political expression. And they say if they find beyond a reasonable doubt that the targeting enhancement applies, the sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider the defendant's selection of the victim as an aggravating factor. Meaning, shall means you have to. Not just, oh, I'll think about it, means you must. You will. You will. Patty says, can we watch the press conference? I don't know. Was it any good? I don't know if there was anything really worth watching in those. Sometimes those are kind of boring. If you guys really want to, I mean, let me know. I just don't know how good it was. Let's see. They televised Tim McVeigh's unaliving. It was broadcast on closed circuit television. It wasn't broadcast like live for us to watch. So, and then that's a shame here says he is such an Aries. Good to see you, by the way. So, what do we also know? There was another enhancing factor. The offense was committed in the presence of a child. That is an aggravating factor. And you shall consider that you committed the offense in the presence of a child is another aggravating factor. And count 2, felony discharge of firearm causing serious bodily injury. Makes sense. There's another targeting thing here. Also committed in the presence of a child. Pretty straightforward. We kind of understand all these. We kind of understand these counts. Makes sense. Count 3, obstructing. It's a second-degree felony. And what did he do? With the intent to hinder, delay, or prevent the investigation, apprehension, or conviction. And what did he do? He concealed or removed the firearm used to shoot Charlie Kirk. Now, this is something I've always had a problem with, even here in Ohio when guys get charged with this. Like, if you commit a crime and you run off with a gun, they're like, oh, you tampered with the crime scene. It's like, are you, like, this is where I think, and I've made the argument before in courts, are like, that's funny, but not, nice try. You shouldn't be expected to leave incriminating evidence. I think that's a bit of a, I don't think you have a duty to do that as a person who commits a crime. You don't have a duty to incriminate yourself. And I made a Fifth Amendment argument, and the court's like, ha, 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 no. But I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong. He shouldn't be allowed to do that. I think he shouldn't be allowed to do that. But they let him do it. They let him do it. So I don't know. I don't know what to do there. So let me see here. What did I miss? Yes, we're gonna get into the messages, guys. There's messages down at the bottom here. Hang tight. We're just getting through the charges right now. So count 4, obstruction of justice, another second-degree felony. So what did he do here? Well, he destroyed, concealed, or removed the clothing he wore during the shooting. Which, once again, this is just absolute nonsense. Like, yes, you're like, come on now. There's also tampering with a witness. This is interesting here. So he, knowing that an official proceeding or investigation was pending or about to be, or intended to prevent official proceeding to go on, attempted to cause his roommate to withhold testimony, information, or what specifically was, told his roommate to delete incriminating text messages. That's witness tampering. It's like, whoa, man. Now it's going on. Now it is going on. Now that's one way you're tampering with the witness, telling him to delete evidence. Another way you're doing it is telling your roommate to shut up if the police question him. Now, I don't know if that technically advising someone of their Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Is that really witness tampering? Once again, I would object to that. I would object and say, Your Honor, he is telling someone you have the right to remain silent. because I'm now potentially a criminal, do I lose the right to advise people of things? No, I don't think that's a fair statement. I don't think that's a proper thing here. So I think this one, like telling your roommate to delete text messages, yeah, that's good. This I don't think is fair. I think that's bogus. I don't think that should be, I don't think that's constitutional. Don't say nothing. He's not telling him to lie, he's telling him not to speak. Honestly. Anyway, count 7, violent offense committed in the presence of a child. That itself is its own offense. No, as a sentencing factor, it's a aggravating factor. It's its own offense. He committed homicide in the presence of a child younger than 14 years old, meaning Charlie Kirk's kid. With the knowledge that a child was present. Now, he probably learned that Charlie Kirk does bring his family everywhere, and I'm sure he learned all this stuff. Yeah. And once again, there's a targeting enhancement. Now, here's the probable cause statement. So we have Brian Davis in the Utah SBI, the State Bureau of Investigations. Remember, this is going to be like the state level law enforcement organization that handles investigations and, other police matters outside of like the highway patrol or the state police. So what does he say here? Well, we know the basics. On September 10th at around 12:23, Charlie Kirk was shot. Police found the murder weapon, a bolt-action rifle and .30-06 nearby. And then over the next 33 hours, they conducted a manhunt till on the evening of September 11th, when Tyler James Robinson surrendered. They found DNA consistent on the rifle trigger. And after shooting, he hid the gun, discarded the clothing he wore, and told his lover/roommate, uh-oh, there goes that narrative, chat. There goes that narrative. There goes that narrative. There go that narrative. What happened to that narrative, though? So the shooting. And it says TPUSA, a nonprofit organization founded in 2012 by Charlie Kirk, held an event on September 10th, 2025. Now, guys, we're kind of brief to this part because we all know this stuff. The event was the first in a series of events to be held at college campuses nationwide. Charlie Kirk was a well-known conservative activist famous for these types of events. His comments have garnered a significant number of supporters and drawn the ire of many who disagree with his political views. Yep. The event at Utah Valley was announced far in advance and gathered publicity, and consequently, several hundred people attended. Charlie's interacting with the crowd before the event got underway, and approximately noon, Charlie seated himself under a portable canopy behind a table and microphone and began speaking to the crowd and fielding questions. Something Charlie Kirk did all the time. Charlie Kirk's team members were very close to him on the right and left, as well as some behind his canopy and others at various close locations near him. The large crowd surrounded Charlie Kirk on 3 sides. The temporary metal fence separated attendees by only a matter of feet. Directly above and behind Kirk was the Utah Valley Hall of Flags, an indoor walkway spanning several hundred feet with floor-to-ceiling glass windows, which overlooked the plaza. Now, notice why they're telling you all this. It's because it was what he did. He shot into a very crowded environment. And it says, after 15 minutes into the event, Charlie was answering a question about mass shootings by Troons when a gunshot rang out. The bullet struck Charlie in the neck. He slumped to the ground almost immediately. The bullet's trajectory passed closely to several individuals besides Charlie Kirk, including the questioner, who was standing directly in front of Charlie, meaning he almost hit the guy who was probably like an ally. Children were visible near the stage when he was shot. And it says Charlie was rushed to a hospital where he died, and the medical examiners report is pending. He leaking. That's what's happened. That's what happened there. So that's kind of what happened there. Robin saying, hold on here. You're saying, where did I see this? Robin is saying, isn't Canopy a PMC? And you're thinking a triple Canopy. Triple Canopy was founded by some Delta Force guys. They're now known as, I think they're now known as like something else. But Triple Canopy is They merged with Blackwater. They have a different name now. But you're thinking of this Triple Canopy. That's a different thing. He's under like a pop-up tent is what they're trying to say. Charlie Kirk was under a pop-up tent. So here's the surveillance investigation. That's what we're getting to now. I know Charlie was not wearing a vest, guys. At the moment of the shot, a police officer was watching the crowd from an elevated vantage point. As soon as he heard the shot, he began to scan the area for threats, believing the shot came from a rifle. He looked for a sniper position. He noted a roof area approximately 160 yards away from Charlie as a potential shooting position and rushed there to look for evidence. The shooting suspect position is adjacent to an open, publicly accessible walkway. To access the location, a person must climb over the railing, then drop to the roof only slightly below. And that's what we already covered this, guys. It was very easy to move into position. It was very easy to get to. Very, very easy to get to. And it didn't take very much. It didn't take very, very much at all. And what the heck is this? Oh, hold on here, chat. I gotta see what the hell just wanted something. All right, and that's not something we necessarily need to cover right this second. I'll read that later. So guys, remember, we are talking about if we're talking about Utah Valley University, this is Utah Valley University here coming in. And from here, Charlie Kirk was down here in a depression, and all the way up on top of this building right here was the shooter. And he was able to get to his position from hopping down onto the roof and, crawling in to go take a shot. So the officer climbed down the railing onto the roof. He walked to the location and confirmed a clear shooting corridor between the position and Charlie's seat. He also noticed markings consistent with a sniper having lain on the roof, impressions in the gravel left by elbows, knees, and feet of a person in the prone position. And that's just because getting down the ground, you're going to make a position. Police reviewed surveillance camera from the camera covering the roof and discovered it recorded an individual dropping onto the roof at 12:15. Although the individual moved out of camera's view for a short time, it again captured him running across the roof and then low crawling to the area the officer recognized where the sniper had dropped into the prone position. And they say this matches the time frame that he was up there. And they say this discovery led to an intensive review of the surveillance recordings. And they say at approximately 11:51, the suspect entered campus from the north. He's seen wearing a black shirt with an American flag in its center, the dark cap, and the sunglasses. That's that picture we've all seen now. Throughout the surveillance, the suspect keeps his head down and rarely raises his head enough to get a clear image of his face. Very good tradecraft. That part's good. Remember, chat, take notes sometimes to take notes. A very good tradecraft. Tried to at some points. As he proceeds across campus, he's seen walking with an unusual gait. He walks a little bend to his right leg, consistent with the rifle being hidden in his pants, which is what we all thought too. No, the rifle was not already on the roof. He had to bring it there. He stuffed it in his pants. This unusual gait continues until he's crossing over the railing and hops onto the roof. The camera immediately later captures the suspect as he runs across the roof to the position, which means he probably scampered on over. To go make this happen. Brad says, did it have a stock? Yes. You can hide a stocked rifle in your pants. You're just going to walk like a pirate. Just, it probably won't work. I'd have to let you borrow a set of my pants, but you could probably do it. The camera later captures the suspect who runs across the roof. Immediately after the shot was fired, a camera captures the suspect running across the roof, carrying his item, which looks like a rifle. He's then seen climbing down from the roof, and then he drops it as he runs. And then from there, we get on to the expanded crime scene investigation. So, from here, law enforcement officers followed his escape path to the northeast end of campus, where he believed they left campus and entered a wooded area. which based on what we're looking at, chat, from here, I think it sounds like, in the Northeast, it sounds like, because we'll do this again. Here's Charlie Kirk. I don't know why it's so blurry. Here's the position the shooting happened. We've seen the video of this guy running across, running up to the back side. He drops down and then he runs. Somewhere like in here, maybe, or in here, or even maybe in here somewhere, he ditched the gun. Or maybe even in here. I don't know. Wooded area could be a lot of things, but that's the only areas he would have probably gone to those ways. So he starts running this way and dumps his stuff. That's what we can kind of tell from this. So they followed the path, and they found a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a towel. The rifle contained 1 spent round and 3 unspent rounds, meaning 1 shell casing, 1 bullet casing, 1 brass casing, and 3 intact rounds of ammunition. This is consistent with the facts officers observed at the time, and no shell cases were found on the roof, suggesting a bolt-action rifle rather than an auto-loading weapon, meaning a semi-auto, because if he had shot with an AR-15 or an AK, that shell casing would have flown off. With a bolt-action rifle, you can and extract the round very slowly. Each rifle round contained an etched inscription follows, "Notice his bulge." Woo, what's this? "Hey, fascists, catch!" "Oh, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow." Which, once again, guys, this is just, tranny stuff. This is just cringe. This is from Helldivers. And then this is a song communists sing. If you read this, you are gay, LMAO. And we do have that part on tap.
You are gay, LMAO.
That's right, Chad. If you read this, you read this, you are gay. So the rifle, you guys are talking about a screwdriver. I don't know what you're talking about because I don't know where there's a screwdriver. You just read it, chat. Uh-oh. Ooh, notice the bulge is a furry thing? Oh, I thought it was a training thing. Okay, dog-splained. Okay, thank you. Or we have a furry here. That's Shame says that one is kind of funny, not gonna lie. No, that's something I would do too. Only gay cops will arrest me. They're gonna be like, well, no. So the rifle, ammunition rounds, and towel were sent for processing. DNA consistent was found on the trigger. Other parts of the rifle, the fire casing, and 2 of the 300 fire cartridges, and the towel. It's like, well, that's pretty compelling. Law enforcement was able to immediately locate the shooter, so they published photos. As that happened. Then in Washington County, they went to Tyler Robinson went to the sheriff's office with his parents and a family friend to turn himself in. So on September 11th, the day after the shooting, Robinson's mother saw the photo of the shooter in the news and thought the shooter looked like her son. That's how a mom would totally do it. Oh my God, that's Tyler. Oh, well, I don't know why she'd say it like she's from Brooklyn, but oh my God, that's my baby Tyler. He's on the news. Oh no. Just thinking of my mom, like, oh my God, that's Sean. My grandma would be like, oh my God, my grandson, the lawyer, he's on TV for murdering someone. Flux, how are you doing? Good to see you. So she called her son and asked him where he was. He said he was at home sick, and he had been at home sick on September 10th. Robinson's mother expressed concern that she's like, he's sus. And the dad agreed. And you're like, well. Oh, no, chat. So Robinson's mother explained that over the last year, Robinson had become more political and started to lean more left, becoming pro-gay and trans rights oriented. Womp, womp, womp. I guess there goes that, he's a Republican meme. She stated that Robinson began dating his roommate, a biological male who was transitioning genders, which means he's gay. That doesn't make him straight. The resulting discussion with family members, but especially between Robinson and his father, who have very different political views. In one conversation before the shooting, Robinson mentioned that Charlie Kirk would be holding an event at Utah Valley, which said was a stupid venue for the event. Robinson accused Kirk of spreading hate. Robinson's father reported that when his wife showed him surveillance image, he agreed it looked like their son. He also believed that the rifle police suspected matched a rifle that was given to him as a gift. Oof. As a result, his dad contacted him and asked him to send a photo of the rifle. Oh, no. That is how you get caught. That is how you get caught. Send me a picture of your gun. No. Well, it's like, send me a picture of your gun. Like, he could have been like, I sold it. That is interesting. Isn't it interesting? So, I mean, you're just like, wow. You know, the dad caught him like that. That is yeah. This is so, there's so much weirdness from there. It's so very weird. It's so very weird. And yes, we'll get to the guy who got caught. We'll talk to the guy who initially got caught. We'll get to him. So Robinson's father spoke on the phone with Tyler. Tyler implied that he planned to take his own life. Tyler's parents were able to convince him to meet at their home. As they discussed the situation, Tyler implied he was a shooter and stated he couldn't go to jail and just wanted to end it. When asked why he did it, Tyler said there's too much evil and the guy spreads too much hate. They talked about him turning himself in and convinced Tyler to speak with a family friend who is a retired sheriff's deputy. At Tyler's dad's request, the family friend met with Tyler and his parents and convinced Tyler to turn himself in. The family spoke to police and reported telling Tyler it'd be best if he brought all evidence with him to the sheriff's office to avoid searching his parents' home. Oh my God. Like, you know, like, look, we don't want you to we don't want your mom and dad's house to get tossed. So you're going to bring everything in with you. That is one for the record books, guys. That is one. Like, this cop should get an award because I don't think that. He's still a good cop. He convinced the guy to bring all the evidence with him. It's like the Rick and Morty meme. I did it here. Here's the knife and here's the confession. It's like, wow. Wow. Yeah, I'm sure they said, leave us the fuck out of this. We don't want to be roped in your shit. The family friend asked Robinson if he had any clothes on him that were related to what he did. Robinson replied he disposed of the clothes in different areas. Oh my God. This guy just like, he's not even a cop. He's retired and he got this guy to like give up the ghost. Wow. Anyways, the roommate. Police interviewed Robinson's roommate, a biological male who was involved in a relationship with Robinson. The roommate told police the roommate received messages from Robinson about the shooting and provided those messages to police. On September 10th, the roommate received a text message from Robinson which said, "Drop what you're doing, look under my keyboard." And I'm sure he'd have been like, oh, it's some spicy pictures. And he, no. The roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note stated, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it." Police found a photograph of this note. The following text exchange took place. After reading the note, the roommate responded, "What? You're joking, right?" And Robinson said, "I'm still okay, my love, mon chéri. But I'm still stuck in Orem for..." I'll do it like JFK. "But I am still stuck in Orem for a little while I wait longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta still grab my rifle. To be honest, I hope to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you." Like, oh my God, weren't you the one who did it, right? He said, "Mon chéri, I am so sorry. I thought they caught the person." He says, "No, they grabbed some crazy old dude and interrogated someone in similar clothing, but I had planned to grab my rifle at drop point shortly afterwards. But most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out. But there's one vehicle lingering." Why? Why'd I do it? Yeah. I had enough of this hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. I very much agree. I very much agree. See? There's common ground out there, chat. We have this. We have this. Keep doing the shooter with the accent français. Ho, ho, ho. Oui, oui. He says, "If I am able to grab my rifle on scene, my fusil, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it." Like, oh my God, how long have you been planning this? It's a bit over a week, I believe. I said it! I said it, chat! He probably worked on this for about a week. I fucking said it! A bit over a week to 2 weeks for planning. It doesn't take much. Remember, guys, it doesn't take much to pull an op off if you have some basic principles down. And this guy fucking winged it. Still a week and a half to get going. I called it. I called it. I called it. So, just saying, I called it. Remember, chat, plan your work, work your plan. So, why didn't this dummy wear gloves? Because he's a dummy. So, they sent an SMS. I don't know. But, yes, hoisted by their own retard. Yes, thank you. Well, an op. Yes, an operation. This is an op. We're calling this an op, so it's a little gay op. Yes, it's a gay op. The paramount, the pinnacle of gay ops. Hey, tranny chaser. But they didn't plan an escape. I mean, he did. His escape was leave, not actually have a plan. So you got to try. So you also said the FBI didn't have shit. He was long gone because they said they didn't have shit. They said they had nothing. They said they had nothing at that point. And the FBI didn't have anything. This guy was turning himself into local law enforcement at that point. So, yeah. Neener. I'm still right. I'm still right. So, all right. Danny says, Sean knows a cops lie. I have a feeling, like, yes, they can lie, but I doubt they've lied about all of this. Like, that's the thing. Like, are you going to say this is all a lie? Tell me, like, is it all fake and gay? Come on now. Yes, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Ryan says, I'm watching Sean, who knows about ops and law, and his refresh. Oh, well. Never mind. I saw that. No, I'm not going to address that anymore. So, anyway, and he says, a bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there's a squad car. There's a squad car of, like, La Policia parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it. Like, oh my God. He says, I'm wishing I'd circle back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. You should have. You should have moved with the wind. You fucked around. You fucked around, dude. Come on now. I'm worried that my old man would do it. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. Oh, that was Grandpa's rifle. I don't know if it had a serial number. Very likely it did. And if it was made after 1968, it 100% had a serial rifle. And even then, most guns made before 1968 had serial numbers as a result of quality control practices. But I own 2 or 3 guns right now that actually have 2 2 guns that were made that don't have serial numbers. And one of them was made in the middle of the Depression when that was an extra step that cost money. But yes, most guns will have a... Jim Cox saying if it's a 98K, it's not a 98K. We've already seen pictures of it. We've already seen pictures of the gun. It's not a Mauser 98K. It's not even a Sporter. It's a basic bitch hunting rifle. It's not a stocked Mauser or anything like that. It's a gun with a Mauser style action. It's got a Mauser 98 style action on it. So, Dogsplane says, does your inert RPG have a serial number? Yeah, it's only inert because we tried to weld it and it looks like there's some ultrasonic. The ultrasounds revealed there's some cracks that might go along the tube. So the tube's kind of ruined. But yes, it technically has a serial number. It's got markings on it. So, for example, like I just got a Garand. The serial number is whatever the, Breda stamped on the receiver. It's an Italian Garand, by the way. It's whatever the manufacturer put on. You don't need to give it an extra serial number. It's a very common thing with milsurps. They have whatever number is stamped on it. Maddie says, play the wire clip about taking notes on conspiracies. Oh, of course, we can do.
Nigga, is you taking notes on a criminal fucking conspiracy? What the fuck is you thinking, man?
Also, chat, remember, this is also a good time to inform you of having levels of comms. White, black, and red level communications. So when you pull an op, you're not just broadcasting out on a monitored and easily traceable platform. Have your white, red, and black comms on hand. If you read more, Google it. And he says, I worry about Prince, but it wouldn't trace me. I worry about Prince. I had to leave in the bush where he changed outfits. I didn't have the ability or time to bring it with me. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find Prince. How the fuck will I explain losing it to my old man? Say you sold it. But that's why, yes. And remember, even though you're wearing gloves isn't the big thing. All the ammunition you handle is going to have fingerprints on it. You have to wipe everything down. Everything. You have to take, ideally what you would do is you'd take the gun out of the stock and you'd wipe everything down, basically short of disassembling it. And wipe everything down with a pair of gloves on, then switch to another pair of gloves when you go do the thing. And when you go do the thing, you carry a pair of gloves that are explainable to have in your car, like work gloves. Because if you carry like rubber gloves on you, remember, you can always turn them inside out and get fingerprints off of them. Free advice, chat. That's free. That is free legal advice. If you wear latex gloves, they can just peel them off and get your fingerprints from the inside. Be careful. Be careful out there. Be careful. Johnny says, why are you telling us this? Because. Why not? Yes. It will kill me. The only thing I left was a rifle wrapped on a towel. He says, remember how I was engraving bullets? The fucking messages are mostly a big meme. He says, if I see notices bulge, it will. On Fox News, I might have a stroke. I mean, to be fair, I get it too. Yes. Now, he's a Flint lawyer. He'll always tell you things. Yes. It's you will need, yes, it's a special tool that'll help you later. Ho ho. Yes, it's for educational purposes as well. It's educational purposes as well. Hella says, what is it will? You're gonna have to Google that one. So, what about the double? You want to double glove? Well, no, because even then, that inside glove will have fingerprints on it. It's probably a better idea to have gloves that are reasonable for somebody to have on them. Like if you have a pair of work gloves in your car, what do you have them for? In case I get grease on my hands. So anyway, we're gonna keep going here. He says, I might have a stroke. All right, I'm gonna have to leave it. That really fucking sucks. And it says, judging from the day, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine. I don't know. I think that was a $2,000 scope. Okay, that is not a $2,000 scope. That is not a $2,000 scope. I doubt they gave a kid a fucking $400 rifle, $500 rifle with a $2,000 scope on it. It's probably some garbage Schmidt or not Schmidt-Bender. Ooh, that's not garbage. Probably some like loophole, like 3 to 9 power or like Redfield, the Chinese, like their unlisted knockoffs type of scope there. So I doubt for $2,000. And this is the thing, guys. If you've looked at rifle scopes, if you're like $2,000, you are at the, you're getting an SWFA. You're getting a super sniper that's like the 18 to 40 power, like you plus extra. You're in a Night Force territory at $2,000. Schmidt and Bender territory at $2,000. You're at Swarovski at $2,000. And you're buying a $2,000 rifle scope is like the difference between a 1080p TV and like a 4K TV. It is like, wow. It blows your mind. Yeah, but you won't put an Elcan Spectre on a hunting rifle. So. Jim says, oh, I know the guy who's the Loophole fan. Nothing wrong with Loophole. Yeah, Razor HD, yes. And that's the thing. This happens. Like the quality of the glass at that point is phenomenal. And also at $2,000, you're getting a scope with like a Horus reticle on it, with all the different markings and all the, all the Horus reticles on it. There's no way that's put on a fucking hunting rifle. No way in hell. So, no way in hell. So, I mean, the other thing is too, this is barely mounted. You see the scope ring? It's barely on the mounting point. That's horribly done. That is so bad. It's so poorly done. Once again, it's amateur hour. His grandpa was a FUD. So. Razor makes mice and scopes. No. Razor is like Vortex. Vortex is a company that makes optics. A Vortex Razor. So. Did he throw off the roof? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but here you go. AP's like my Night Force 4 to 32 was 1890. Yeah, my ZT, my Zeiss was 3900. Yeah. Yeah, there are, yeah. And it's like putting Pirellis on a Honda, like putting racing Pirellis on a Honda Civic. Exactly. So, yeah. Okay, and Bass Player 2011 saying 2K scopes are mid-grade. Okay, yes, for like the high-end consumer, yes. But for the average person, that's as good as they're ever going to be able to afford, if they ever afford that. If people spend more than $500 on a scope, that's rarefied territory for the most part. That's a lot of money to spend on the stuff. So, say, okay, moving on now. Yes, well, we had to deal with that. Thank you, Kaz. But not everybody knows this stuff. Not everybody understands this is just nonsense. It's just nonsense. He says, yes, delete this exchange. Okay, and then I presume at some time later, so not like right afterwards. Remember, this is like the next day. My dad, and if he's texting his boyfriend, why are they not in the room together? My dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle, and it is very unique. He's calling me right now, not answering. And he says, since Trump got in office, my dad has been pretty diehard in MAGA. Based. He's like, I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. You are all I worry about, love. I'm much more worried about you. Don't talk to the media, please. Don't take interviews or comments. If the police ask you any questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. Yeah, see, that right there, you have a Fifth Amendment right. He's allowed to tell the guy to get a lawyer. He's allowed to tell the guy to get a lawyer. That's not illegal. That, once again, one of those charges is bullshit, in my opinion. So a search of the residence. During the search, police discovered a shell casing with etchings found on the shell casings near Utah Valley. Police found several targets with bullet holes in it in the home. Oh no, shot up targets. So they say count 1 pertains to the shooting and killing of Charlie Kirk. in a manner that exposed others to, in addition to Charlie, of death. The discharge of firearm is that doing so would endanger those in the bullet's path, and ultimately killed Charlie. Count 3 is the removal and hiding of the rifle. Count 4 is the removal and hiding of the clothing. Witness tampering, telling his roommate to delete their text. And then, yes, this one here is bullshit. If you have any questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. You're allowed to do that. I think it's such horseshit. And then count 7, the violence committed in the presence of a child under the age of 14. And this is based upon the evidence received by Brian Davis from the Utah State Bureau of Investigations. I believe this has been committed, and this is the Utah County Attorney, the prosecutor himself, Jeffrey S. Gray. So there you go, chat. That is, yeah. So this is, that's a little weird when it comes to a shooter. It's like, look, I did it, and here's everything. It's like, what? I don't know if I buy that. I don't know if I buy that. So this is a little weird here. Will he get conjugal visits from his furry boyfriend? No, because he's going to be a witness. Let's see. Afix says, I'm late, but what is a targeting enhancement? He selected this person based on a prohibited issue, meaning Charlie Kirk was targeted based on his politics. So in Utah, they made that an enhancement. It's a fabricated text exchange to absolve the boyfriend, maybe. But in the meantime, guys, you know what they've done? They've yanked his hard drives. They're hoovering through all the data on his phone. Like that, it's not, that guy's not out of the woods yet. 100%. So don't worry about that. They'll get him if they're going to get him. Territory says, are we going to have the government require background checks to buy ladders under Patriot Act 2.0? Well, remember, he didn't use a ladder, but he should have used a ladder to climb down. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to try to push for like limiting high-powered rifles and scopes at some point. Yeah, that's the thing. Ultimately, yes. Well, the reason this guy targeted Charlie Kirk because he was there. Because Ben Shapiro's gone harder in the paint on trans issues than Charlie Kirk. Yeah. So, chance of him getting a death penalty, probably pretty fucking high. What the cool guy says 100%. I bet they find CP. I bet they find pictures of Rose. That would be funny. Let's see here. We got some other comments to catch up on here, chat. Do you think they'll do a raffle for the DP firing squad? Says Anani Moose. $5. No, sadly not. Dogsplain says, can you get a fair trial with how publicized the murder was? That was one of my concerns about Kyle Rittenhouse. Maybe. I mean, at some point, but eventually, at some point, your actions made your cause so infamous that, I mean, I don't know what you can, like, that's your fault at some point. But yeah, I mean, like, I think he can get a fair trial, but at some point, like, he's going to have to be tried. Boosh is saying, do you think he should become Swiss cheese or spend the next 50 years wearing only that smock locked in the cold room? Yeah, give him the death penalty. I think the death penalty is appropriate. It's got its uses. Bald Eagle Jerk says, haven't watched you in a while. It's good to see you. Welcome back. Says trial coverage is going to be fun, assuming he does go to trial. Assuming he doesn't plead guilty, let's see them Discord logs. Ooh, buddy, they're going to be good. Tech Guy Sal says he wasn't even a month old when I graduated college. Yeah, I was finishing up my junior year of high school when he was born. Nearneth is saying, is the aggravating factor carry a felony score? Or is it up to the judge's discretion and justification for upward departure? Well, remember what they mentioned, like that is it shall be used in sentencing. So if you're deciding between like 25 to life or life without parole, yes, it is an aggravating factor. You have to consider it. So it's not it's not departures like in federal court, but it's allowed to like how severe are you going to make it? So it's a very good question. If I didn't answer it, let me know. Anonymous for $20, chat. Says, jokes aside, a question about jury selection. As Charlie was a public figure, what sorts of limits would they place on the selection? No one's watched a video. No one knows about them beforehand. Dumb question, but curious. It depends on what they do. It depends on how far they can get. I don't know. They're going to have to. And I mean, they're probably going to find a lot of people who've watched Charlie Kirk. It's a very, Utah is still a very Republican area. So it's going to be very tough to do. It's going to be very, very tough to do. But remember, he's got to get there. A very good question. Let's see here. Luke is saying, I don't like how assassins are younger than me now. I've wasted my life. Yes. That's the thing. Yes, I feel your pain. Hold on one second, chat. Okay. Well, we're working on some stuff here. Just let me know when you need me, okay? So, Bass Player 2011 says, why does it always have to be a fire sign? As a fire sign myself, I disavow this man. Also, jury selection for this will be interesting. Man, you Aries are weird folk. Winston has been a member for 3 months. It says, remember, guys, around trans, don't make plans. Derpitus says, Sean, why is this not, there we go. Why is that not showing up? Derpitus says Sean should humiliate Josh by losing more weight than him. That would be funny. SB Sellers gifting 10 subs. Let's freaking go tonight, chat. Gets everybody in a woo from Clyde. Then let's see. Thank you so much for your support, your generosity. Drax says, will you be watching the trial if there is one? Yep. Let's see here. Jasper the Cat says, the Baldo doesn't fit. You must have quit. Once again, does Phil know you're spending his money? Better be careful. Jefferson Poe says, being better than being on TV next to the Toledo toe sucker. Very true. Very true. Very, very true. Such is life. Hunch a Dirty Roofer says, was this sheriff's deputy forcibly retired for being too good at his job? Maybe that would be the ultimate irony. That would be the definition of ironic. Morris Apple for $2 says, hoisted by their own petard. Yes. Dogsplain says, stop incriminating yourself for your future plans, nerd. Don't worry, it's already happened. Don't you worry about me. I'm already, don't worry. You'll see the smoke. You'll know what I'm doing. John Coleman says, I blame Disney for making their villains flamboyant caricatures. Prove me wrong. Yes. He modeled himself after Gaston. Baby Cakes 420 says, why do these texts sound like a 22-year-old using it will? Because they are. Derna says, talking on the phone is uncomfortable, so dude is going to just witness tamper in writing with a third party in possession of the comms. Peak Gen Z. Yes. Not thinking that part through. And then January 6 2.0 says, I've heard the text between him and his boyfriend looks scripted. Could the text be planned to give plausible deniability for the boyfriend? I mean, why? Why would they do that? I mean, maybe, but why would they? Okay. Gaston was the villain? No, but yeah, because the boyfriend playing the hit, I could see that being the issue there. I could see it being an issue. So, but let's finish up real quick. Guys, I will be right back. Give me one quick second here, and in the meantime, I will we'll just play this real quick, and I will be right back. Hold on.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful. Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
That's it right there. Pull it up. I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system.
All right, chat. Sorry about that. We're back now. Sorry about that. So yeah, we're gonna move on. We got a couple more things here, but we're gonna move on to the other interesting part of this whole thing. Now, if you guys remember, there was the crazy guy who was getting arrested right as soon as it happened. And he was the guy running around falsely claiming to have shot Charlie Kirk when it all happened. And if you guys haven't seen this before, this is him. And it's the guy's name is George Zinn. And he is, if you guys have not seen this before, this is him. And this is the guy getting people throwing shit at him and everything. Yes, getting drug along with his pants down. But anyways, here he is.
How dare you! 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 He's such a monster! What a monster! Such a monster! Monster! A monster! How dare you! Back it up! Back it up! How dare you!
So anyways, that's him. That's George Zinn. Well, it's been interesting because some things happened to George Zinn. And, he initially did all this. Now, there's some backstory to this guy that is interesting. And for example here, this is the this is from the Salt Lake City Tribune. So this is the big newspaper there. So he is widely known as a political gadfly in Utah. Well, what does that mean exactly for this dude? Like, what does he do? Well, he's got a bit of a... So he's been around... why is this... it does that. So he fucks with all kinds of people when the guy... this guy shows up at all kinds of political events. So they point out, like, it's a thing here. But anyways, they were trying to reach him and they were unsuccessful. The attorneys who've represented this guy in his misdemeanor cases did not respond to requests for comment. So this guy is ultimately known for being a dipshit and getting involved in stuff. But yes, initially he was taken into custody on suspicion of obstructing justice and later released. And this guy, here he is at a different thing here, the State of the County address in Utah. It's one of the political events. This guy shows up everywhere. He's known for showing up and disrupting or being arrested at everything from the Sundance Film Festival to various protests. He holds the distinction of being the first person thrown up by security at the Fancy Pants Mall when it first opened in 2012. So this guy sounds like a fucking douchebag. All about attention. But he ran around saying he shot him. But I don't know. Anyway, so yes, Sim Gill, as Danny On will tell us about him, told the Tribune that his office has prosecuted Zinn, whose criminal history goes back to the 1980s. Often he's arrested on suspicion of trespassing. But this guy's a libertarian and he would give me a hard time for being a Democrat. Zinn had a curiosity about politics, and almost every event you could think of, there was always George in the background. He could be odd and has those behaviors that challenge, but by and large, he's more of a gadfly. So, most recently, he was arrested for being a pedestrian on the roadway. So this guy's just a fucking douchebag. He was banned from the Sundance Festival in Park City, Utah, after he tried to push his way into a Q&A and was arrested days later for just being an asshole. Here he's at an event with Mike Lee, Senator Mike Lee. His most serious charge came when he was charged with threatening to place bombs at the Salt Lake City Marathon. He took a plea deal for that, but was ordered to jail for 1 year with credit for time served after not meeting the conditions. But this guy is a fucking asshole. This guy is an asshole. He went to the Kobe Bryant thing. Like, this guy just is a douchebag. This guy is at everything. Well, when you draw the attention of the man, when you draw the government's attention, guess what? Eventually they check and they start looking into you. Well, yeah, he's in trouble now. Because guess what? They found cheese pizza in his possession. So, because guess what the police did when they had taken his phone and they were suspecting whether or not to charge him? They would take his phone and they went through his phone. And he's now accused of keeping graphic sexual photos of children on his phone. 4 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor after they found more than 20 images of kids as young as 5. And he admitted that he gets gratification for viewing and sharing child porn images with others and has preferred victims' age as 5 to 12 years old. So yes, we've even got this in the Charlie Kirk assassination. What about the child porn? I mean, I don't know, but we apparently have it. Today. So I guess, yeah, well, that's interesting. So, and this is him. Look at him. Yeah, have fun there, Chomo, man. So, and he's facing a charge of obstructing justice. Because after he allegedly admitted to screaming, he shot Kirk in a bid to help the actual shooter get away. What a fucking piece of shit. He was quickly taken into custody with the detention paving the way for the child porn charges. Yeah, because they searched his phone. He fessed up to not being the shooter there, and eventually they successfully requested if they could take a look at his phone. And he handed it over. He admitted to state and ages he uses the device to check out inappropriate images of children. Those agents did see several images of prepubescent girls scantily dressed. And they say the search warrant obtained led to finding the 20-plus images and sexual graphic sex threads in which Zinn shared images with other people. Being held at the county jail. And there you go. There you go, guys. Yeah, they're going to... he told police he wanted to cause a distraction for the real gunman. But also said he wanted to be a murder for the person who was shot. So it stalled the probe because they were wasting time. They thought they had the guy. So fuck him. Fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. Of course he's a pedo. Couldn't he be charged as an accessory? No, because he wasn't actually involved in it. Yeah, they should probably track down the rest of the people in the group while they're... Oh, I'm sure they will. Yes. Defensive child porn is a first, yes. So, yes, that is very true. Very, 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 very true. Infernal Machine says a silver lining. Yeah. Oh. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm glad he admitted that, but why would he admit to all that? Because because when they ask for his phone, here's what happens. He says no. They're gonna get a fucking warrant anyway. So, I mean, like, they're gonna get a warrant for his phone. So, let me see here. When you go to high-profile assassination and forget to leave your jitterbug full of cheese pizza at home. Very true. Very true. Yes, he self-reported. Yeah, the feds planted it. It's all a conspiracy. It's all a conspiracy. Yes, when you draw the government's attention, you get a perp walk with your pants around your ankles. Yeah, and he drew the government's attention. Yes, Lulbert's with CP. I know, like, Pikachu moment. Yes, it totally is a shock. It totally is a shock to the system. So yeah, there you go, guys. It's like, be careful out there. And then EDW for $5 says, I'm starting to get a pattern with nihilism. Say what you want about the tenets of National Socialism, Sean. At least it's an ethos. Yes, thank you, Mr. Lebowski. Thank you. Then Otto says, yes, this guy ups it every time. He did. And now he's got child porn charges. It's like, rest in hell. Rest in hell. Unforced Ego for $20 says, how come random leftoids get clipped for something they end up being chomos? Think about Rosenbaum. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like it happens. It's like, you throw a rock in a group of leftists, you hit a pedo. That's how it goes sometimes, It's like the meme says, the people don't think the universe be like it is, but it do. Quote the great black science man. Thank you, Ego, for your $20. And then Tony Hugecock for $9.99. Thank you. It says, your stream where you watch Erica Kirk's message was very touching. Thank you very much. My parents were gleeful about Kirk, and I'm working to reconcile that. Well, good on you for reconciling that. That mean, remember, it's your family, and, good on you for trying to go to them. Good on you for trying to go to them. I respect that. I hope that you're able to reconcile with them. I really hope you can. So thank you. Thank you, Tony. Yes, his pants disavowed him. Oh. You want to hit the dog button. You want the dog button. Okay. There's the dog button. Let me see here. Where's Clyde? I don't know if Clyde's going to come in here right now. Let me see. Clyde! Last night he couldn't stop not jumping on me, so I don't know. Come here, Bubba. Come here, Clyde. Clyde. He's walking. He's strutting. Come here. Bubba. He's like, fuck you. He's like, we're not doing this right now. We'll do it at the later show. So. That's right, chat. We're doing 2 shows. We're going to talk about what happened with Luigi Mangione today, because that's actually pretty important. I think it's important to get to. And actually, I was thinking about, Luigi's tomorrow. We are going to cover what happened to Fani Willis today in the Supreme Court of Georgia. Total prosecutor death. That'll be the second show here in a little bit. January 6th, 2.0 for $5 says some tweets people have posted suggest a trans conspiracy. Looks like bots to me. The accounts tweet the same thing every day. Yes, but there is a militant group called Armed Queers, which is being investigated right now for whether or not they assisted in this, or when if there was any involvement. So keep your ears, keep put the space out there. Letty says for $1.99, opinions on the SIG pre-365 macro. I mean, people seem to like it. I don't have one, so at least this one won't go off and kill you. So it's safe. So I mean, I would try it if you like it. Go find somewhere you could shoot one, or if you know somebody who's got one. But yeah, I mean, they seem to be okay. They seem to be okay. Johan Noxos for $2 says, "Are you still mad at us? We sort of behaved last night. You guys were very well behaved with Ryan Mullally. Thank you so much for that. Ryan enjoyed it. You guys were like the right level of cheeky. It was just the right amount. So, is Destiny gonna get tossed off YouTube? No. Remember, nothing ever happens to lol cows. Is Clyde engraving 30-06 rounds too? No, Clyde wires up cell phones. Yes, Clyde is a bit green today. Clyde got a bit green. Let me see here. Hold on one second. So the guy came out and got our landscaping kind of cleaned up and everything. And well, he also did, the weed whacking and, then he mowed the lawn. Just kind of like cleaned everything up for us. 2.0 asked him to do it. And well, that makes some green grass. And that makes some very, very green grass. And we have somebody decided to get all green. Someone decided to get all green and roll around in it. And this is when he first did it. He did it and he came inside to see 2.0. 2.0 was like, what the fuck? He does this all the time, but this is really significant. Normally there's like a little bit of green on him here or there when I mow the yard, but like he rolled in everything. He rolled in everything, chat. And there's a good boy. Such a good boy. Did you inform that St. Patrick's Day was 9 months ago? Yeah. Yep. But Clyde is getting rid of the gray, guys. I'm telling you. Clyde is all about getting rid of grays. So at least he's not rolling in poop. He probably did that. I mean, just like, probably did. Probably did roll in poop out there. What the fuck does Hassan have to do to get kicked off Twitch? He said to disembowel people. Yeah, but in that one, I think he meant like you're going to utterly defeat them on stage. Because I think that one was kind of clear. But the other stuff he threatens with, because the head of Twitter is like his boyfriend and loves him. And they threw a birthday party for Hassan because they're all commies. So that's why. Say, have you ever seen or played around with the Flipper O? It is a Tamagotchi of pure fun. No, I am not. Yes, chlorophyll Clyde. Chlorophyll, more like borophyll. It's Clyde in his punk phase. Yes, that is Clyde. Cute doggo. Yeah, he's a good boy. He's the best doggo. So the head of Twitter or the head of Twitch, I'm sorry. Head of Twitch. They're all the same. They're all tech companies. Maybe Max Zorin was right in flooding Silicon Valley. Maybe he was correct on that ultimately all along. Maybe we need to do that. Flood all of Silicon Valley. Morse Apple for $10 says, when do I have to avoid talking to my very liberal mom? If she brings up groypers, I'm going to rage. Because I know for a fact she doesn't know about them prior to the event. I mean, I don't know. And for a lot of you guys, I understand. It's really tough. And I'm sorry that you have to deal with that. Believe it or not, like Mama Criminal and Papa Criminal are kind of normies when it comes to this stuff. They aren't following it a whole lot. So it's easier to kind of explain things to them. But, I mean, it's, I'd explain to my mom what the notices bulge thing meant. And she's like, oh. So I don't know. I'm sorry you got to deal with that. But just keep, they're your parents, man. You only got one set of them. I don't know. Just reach out to them if you care about them. Let's see here. Did you get your slide on? No. And I got home. I had a very stressful day. Like some things, like some motions had been filed, and like, nope, the courts had not gotten back to me on things. And I'm like, I was being very nice, but I wanted to walk in and go into like the one courthouse and be like, walk up to the clerk's door, the clerk's window, and scream like, "Oh my God, what's happening? Please!" I just start pounding on the window. But I didn't. I got there, and finally they're like, "Oh yeah, it's all good. Don't worry about it. We were going to tell you." And I'm like, "You could have told me yesterday. I wouldn't have panicked." But like, yeah. Clyde looks way healthier now. Oh. The Kino Casino clips about Fuentes to show him. Yeah, point out, I mean, he is the gay Mexican cat boy herder. And like, bring up the stuff about him with Jaden and running around with the black light hunting for all the cum stains. Like, Nick Fuentes and the Groypers are a bunch of homos. Remember, Nick Fuentes, the guy who got scared when that chubby old lady came knocking on his door and he had to pepper spray her. Like, show them this is who you're dealing with. You're dealing with a bunch of homos. They're gay. That's what you got to do to show them the Groypers are not a problem. So, Zoran, a.k.a. Christopher Walken, yes. Foley says Hassan isn't a commie. He preaches commie garbage. He looks like a capitalist. That's how you're a true communist. You're a scumbag and you lie to people. Those are the professional communists because they understand it's all just a hustle. You think all of Hassan's dad's money went into the Twitch coffers? That couldn't surprise me. Clyde looks like he swam in the Cuyahoga River. Yeah. JDK says, show the charging document for this guy or who? We already just went through it. Please show the other green picture of Clyde again. Sure. This is the one 2.0 sent me while I was in court. Like, she's like, look what happened. I think there's another one of him here that I can show. Yeah. And this is before she gave him a bath. Because I come in and I see him and he's all messed up. So yeah, some people think Nick Fuentes is gay because Destiny sucked him off. I think he's gay because he's a Fed. We are not the same. I mean, he could be both. I can't believe Pirate Software is this guy's boyfriend. Oh no, Chad. Oh no.
Let me take a look at this. This is from a police interview obtained by NBC4.
Well, I was like, I had this going earlier, and it's like, why is my Court TV thing running? And that's because I initially watched that hearing we saw. I initially did this I watched it on Court TV, so, but 2.0 is like, oh, they're going, and I'm like, yeah, but it's too late now. So that's why I waited till after it was over. So, did you comment on the Pam Bondi hate speech thing yet? I mean, I did on Twitter, but yeah, this is the problem with Pam Bondi. I mean, she is an idiot of she's running the high score for being an idiot. She's like the dumbest person in the Trump administration, and I don't understand it. I truly don't understand this woman. And I hate to use the bulwark because they're a bunch of sellout, like neocon sellouts and stuff. But this is Pam Bondi saying a bunch of bullshit.
There's free speech and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across the aisle. There's free speech and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie in our society.
Do you see?
So it's all just whether or not what she meant, she's too fucking stupid to do it the right way. So yeah, she's dumb. Yes, she's dumb. Yeah, I meant criminal threats for reals. Yeah, I mean, maybe she did. She's stupid. So it's hard to trust her. So yeah, she's a bimbo. Yes, and people are saying, "Well, she did a good job when I was in Florida. She was the reason why George Zimmerman got prosecuted." So it's like, remember that this woman was behind George Zimmerman getting prosecuted. Just keep that in mind, chat. Just keep it in mind. And then Swamp Dog Clyde for 10 subs. That's right, chat. You could see him right here. He's Clyde. He's swamp dogging up. He's swamp dogging it up, chat. Look at that. Look at this, chat. He's swamp dogging it up. It gets in a woo. That's right, chat. We're making America green again. We are praying the gray away. Even Clyde jumped in today. Thank you for your subs. Thank you for your generosity on that so very much. So, Clyde's getting A-ring going green, yes. So, Deviate is a new member. Thank you for re-upping. I appreciate it, man. Peter Keys for 5 New Zealand dollary doodles. Says, Clyde, I said catch me the chloroform, not the chlorophyll. Karate Werewolf has been a member for 1 month. Says, thank you for being here, by the way. Says, how is it possible for Hassan to get charged? You'd have to show he's inciting imminent lawless action. Now, do I think that when he's gone around outside the country to find out if he's been, jiggling terrorist wiener wherever he goes because he likes to talk to him at times? Yeah, but in the meantime, he hasn't done anything illegal. Being a cringe asshole is not illegal, sadly. There are times where you wish it could be, but then there's other times where you're glad it's not because you're being that asshole. So right now, being a big flaming asshole is not illegal. Not illegal. Derna says the kid was subjected to nonstop propaganda since he was 12. It doesn't take radical; it only takes sincere and stupid. Yeah, who knows what he what agitprop he got exposed to, but yeah, certainly it worked. It worked. Yes, it worked. Mike says Bonnie going retard is shocking. Okay, yeah, this was the comment I wanted to show. She's already a sellout, man. She already sucks. Pam Bondi's a retard. And then Rowan. Real quick, I wanted to get to this here. I forgot it. Member for 12 months says, thank you for support, Rowan. Says, can Tyler Robinson get away if his attorney files a Franks motion? Maybe. And that's the key to victory, chat. That's the key to victory, the Franks motion. Remember that. Remember that. Deviate for $10. Thank you. Says, long time no see you, Muckraker. Well, thanks, man. It's good. Like I said, it's been a little while. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. January 6, 2.0 for $5 says, Fuentes was at January 6th. Yes, he was, because he's a Fed. Told a crowd to go into the Capitol and wasn't investigated. He glows more than I do, and my father worked in the FBI for 40 years. Yeah. No, he glows a lot. He's some sort of asset. It's the reason why he's never been charged. David Davis has been a member for 12 months. Thank you, David. I appreciate it. Says 1 year of paying monthly just for Clyde. Clyde appreciates that so very much. So very much. He appreciates it. And then Deviate for 10 subs. Let's fucking go tonight, chat. Remember, guys, we got another show coming up. About 8:30, we're going to start the Fannie Willis stuff. So we're going to end this so I can take a break and get ready for that. So we're going to get into that here. But yeah. Another woo. It's never too late for those woos. EDW Raptor for $5 says, if you had the ability, would you defend Robinson? And if so, for how much? If I was able to do it, would I do it? Sure. I mean, they're not like you get as a appointed counsel for death penalty cases, you get a lot more. But yeah, I think that'd be kind of interesting. The problem is, if they called me right now and were like, hey, Sean, we need you, I'd have to decline because I've already demonstrated a lot of prejudice and bias towards my own client. So I wouldn't be able to do it. But if it just happened and they called me and like I happened to be walking into the courthouse that day to deal with a case and they said, oh, hey, by the way, can you take care of this guy? Sure. But at this point now, no, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Ethically, I don't think I'd be allowed to, and personally, I don't think that'd be fair to him. So I'd have to decline representation. Vodka Blood for 10 subs. Well, you guys are just never gets too late for the awoos. Never gets late for the awoos. You need Sean and Ocean Monster talking. Who's Ocean Monster? Winston says, "Is there going to be a local stream tonight?" No. We're going to do another YouTube stream about Fannie Willis losing. So, are you death penalty certified? No. In Ohio, the requirements for that. Hold on. There are specific requirements. There are here, like if you guys want to see. Let me see here. Let me see here. Yeah, here we go. We'll bring this up here real quick. I'll show you guys. If you want to see what it's like, so here it is in Ohio. If you want to get to certification of counsel. So in Ohio, if I wanted to do this, let's say you did it here in Ohio. Here's what Ohio's rules are, because I know what these are, because I found. I got bored and looked them up before. So what is the first thing you do? You have to be admitted to practice law, which kind of makes sense. You have to be admitted to practice law. It totally works. You have to be. The 5K factorial stream, when I will work on that. We're going to get that done here at some point. The factorial stream will happen here. But anyways, how do you do this? You have to be in demonstrated commitment to providing high quality representation in the defense of capital cases. You really have to be about it. Okay. You have to have substantial knowledge of relevant state, federal, international law, and procedural and substantive governing capital cases. Skill in the management and conduct of things there. Skill in legal research, analysis, and drafting. Oral advocacy. Skill in the use of expert witnesses and familiarity with forensics, fingerprints, ballistics, arson, pathology, and DNA evidence. Skill in the preparation of evidence for mental status at the penalty phase. Skill in for mitigating evidence. Skill in trial advocacy, like jury selection, cross-examination, and opening and closing statements. You're like, well, that doesn't mean shit. We have to demonstrate you're good at that stuff. But here's the requirements. And actually, I was wrong. I thought it was 10 years, but 5 years of criminal litigation. Okay. In Ohio courts of common pleas, which means where felonies are tried, or criminal appellate experience in Ohio courts of appeals, or the Ohio Supreme Court. You have to possess these things here. You were the lead counsel in one capital case, or you were co-counsel in the trial of at least 2 capital cases. And then you have to have further requirements. You have to have trial lead counsel experience in the jury trial of at least 1 murder or aggravated murder case in the 10 years prior to making application. You have to have experience as lead trial counsel as another option in 3 aggregated or first degree aggravated means aggravated murder, or first or second degree felony jury trials in a court of common pleas in the 5 years prior to making application. Like, I possess this right here. I've met this requirement. I've met this requirement for many, many years now. These are the ones I don't have. Comply with the general requirements in the appointment of counsel rules 3.1. And these have their own special rules. These are the rules for appointment in capital cases. These are the special rules for these guys. Okay. They have their own special rules. There's also rules for appellate counsel. There's rules for co-counsel. There's rules for lead counsel. Like, there's all kinds of rules for this stuff, guys. It's very strict. We want to make sure it's done properly. People's lives are on the line. If you want to be co-counsel, at least 3 years of criminal litigation experience, because attorneys might go in and out of criminal practice. It's not uncommon. They talk about all this. If you want to be appellate counsel, you have to have 3 years of criminal litigation or criminal appellate experience. You have to have counsel of appeal at least 3 felony convictions in the 3 years prior. Like, that part I mean. I wouldn't be able to meet the other requirements that they have here yet. So there's all kinds of rules for this stuff. But like Utah's going to have similar rules. They're going to have similar rules that are similarly outlined, not exactly those rules, but they're going to be just like that. But like I said, somebody, Sweet Tooth, you're asking what for me? Well, there you go. There you go. Are these requirements just for federal court? No. Those are the requirements to try a death penalty case in my state. But it's a similar type of rule system and qualifications. Moore says, it makes sense. I didn't realize to review that many requirements. But to be fair, you never thought about it. Yeah. Do you have to lock black people? Well, yeah, it would help. In Arkansas, you just have to have a pulse. Yes. Okay. Let me see here. There's a low-key protest in Indiana of attorneys refusing to get death penalty qualified. They can't charge it if there's no one to defend it. Yeah, that's one way around it. That's one way to protest things. There's also the issue of like funding. You don't get paid like super well. Like for a death penalty case, I think in Ohio, your maximum reimbursement rate's like $20,000 you can bill for. That's not very much. Like a rape case would be like $20,000. Like a rape case going to trial would be like 20 G's in this area. You could do, a manslaughter case for like that. But getting like $20,000 for a capital murder case that's going to be 2-3 years long, that's not worth it at all. So, Christine Fortunato's been a member for 14 months. Thank you, Christine. Thank you for being here. Is the appellate lawyer the same or higher or lower? No, the appellate lawyer is, you have your trial counsel, and then if you lose, you appeal. And to the appellate court's the next higher up thing. Robin says those rules don't seem too bad. They're not. You just have to get all the stuff done. How do you get lead counsel if you're not death penalty certified, though? Well, the way it starts is you apply. Like, I can't just show up and take those CLEs. The Supreme Court has to allow you to go do those. And it's a very limited time. They do them once in a while. They do them like once a year. So you have to apply, and they're going to kind of vet you. And they're going to talk to attorneys you deal with in your area, judges you deal with. And be like, is this person good for it? Because they're wasting time and effort training you. And it's a free CLE. They don't charge you for it. But you get all this experience and time. They want to make sure you're about that. So they have to do that. So you go through the training, but you have to apply for it. Have you done a murder case? If you can't say I understand. Yeah, I mean, I had a client with an aggravated murder case this past year. We ended up pleading him out. He was involved in a drug robbery that went bad, and somebody got killed. But I've been co-counsel or second chair on two, but I've never. This was the first one I've done by myself. So, and it's just the area where I practice in for the most part is out in the suburbs. There haven't been not a lot of murders, and I'm trying to push into like Cleveland and get some more murder experience because that's the highest end of it. So let me see here. What are you guys saying? I remember requirements for, in this case, death penalty appellate lawyer. No, they're not really that much higher. It's more a focus on you've done a lot of appeals and your appeals are quality. If the defense wouldn't let you charge, if they can only charge $20K for that, the prosecution should only be able to spend that much. Well, you would never have a death penalty case for $20,000 because they have to spend more than that. So, yeah, I mean, like that would be a way to get no death penalty. David said I could do a capital case for $10. Dogsplain says it's not uncommon. It's not incredibly common for out of death penalty cases. Most places it's not. Texas, yeah, but Texas is also huge. Ohio still does them. It's just we're not really fast about executing people. Vodka Blood says the public death penalty a thing? No. I mean, back like 1900, yes, but at like the turn of the 20th century, most states went to you got executed at the penitentiary, like inside the courtyard. So it's not doing it publicly has not been a thing for like 120 some years. Before that, yeah, what would happen is normally you would get brought back. You'd be in the state jail, the state penitentiary, and they'd bring you back to the county where you committed the crime, and they'd hang you in front of the courthouse. So that's a very good question. Job well done says, I make good money. 20K ain't nothing to scoff at. If it's something you worked on for 3 years and probably deserve to be paid like $60,000 or $70,000 minimum, yeah, that's not very much. The hours and hours and hours. I'm not gonna lie, not having a ton of capital crime cases to be a lawyer for is probably a good thing. Well, like if that's all you did, that would suck. Like Sarah Boone's attorney, the one guy who kept on having murder trial after murder trial after murder trial, that would be fucking awful. That's way too much to do. Once in a while, having a couple things here and there is okay. So get some more murder experience, yes. I'm trying to get more murder experience, yes. Kathy, your realtor living in New Jersey, guys, remember, you guys want to buy something in New Jersey, sell something in New Jersey, or for some reason want to lease something in New Jersey, Kathy is your person. Get a hold of her. Get a hold of her out there. Let's see. On his resume, yes. Trump wants us come out to Youngstown. You got plenty of work. Youngstown, man, Youngstown's a long way to go. Even when I practiced out in the boonies, man, Youngstown was still about an hour and a half away. Hell to the break says, how do attorneys deal with clients they consider despicable? I'm not there to judge them. I mean, I've dealt with some really disgusting people in my time. I mean, like, I got a job to do. My job is to do what I can for them. The government says they did something. I don't know if they did it. Now, yes, eventually you come to the conclusion, okay, they really did do this. They really did do the rape. They really did do the murder. Or, wow, they do have a lot of kiddie porn on their computer. You just deal with it. It's not, I'm not vouching for this guy by defending him. He's not my friend. I don't want him to live near me, but he has rights. My job's to protect him the best I can. And if I'm the only person that can protect him, then so be it. I do my best. And if I can do a better job than the state at putting him away, that's their fault, not mine. If they can't make the landing stick and keep this bad man off the road, oh well. But that's why there's a lot of attorneys. Like there are attorneys who, like, for example, who take, like, they'll only take certain types of clients. Like there are attorneys who, like, I don't take sex cases. I don't take cases with kids. There, some attorneys when it comes to like appointed cases, when you walk into a court for the first time, you've never been there. Like when I moved from where I was way out east to the suburbs of Cleveland, back when I kind of started the channel, you go introduce yourself to the judges and, they say, hey, Mr. Martin, is it okay if I put you on our appointed list? They're like, yeah, judge, here's all my stuff. And they're like, okay, cool. Is there anything we can't appoint you to? And I said, no, I'm fine with whatever. Because some people do have hangups. And like Nick Rekieta is a great example. Nick Rekieta said he didn't ever want to do DUI cases. He didn't want to defend them because he was always worried like it would something that would hurt his family. Like if he did a good job, that guy could get out and hurt his family or other families. You respect that. Not wanting to do it and telling people up front, I don't do that type of case. Yeah, I have nothing but respect for people that, do that. They're honest about it. Let's see. Ace Ventura for 10 euros. Fancy. Says, hey, Sean, have a sandwich on me as Nick's YouTube. Well, after speaking of Nick, as Nick's YouTube is dead and he can't afford a real manly sandwich. Well, thank you. And guys, like that whole story about Nick, it's not a knock on him. It's like he said, I can do a lot of crimes, but I won't do that one. And I'm fine with that. Like you have to be. And like courts accept that. There are cases where, people have had trauma in their past. They're like, I don't want that kind of case. Like there are people like, I don't take child abuse cases. That it is what it is. That's a shame, says, which is by design. Yes, it's 100% by design. Yes. Kathy says, how do you work all day and stream every day? This is kind of like the fun thing for me. It's the fun thing for me. But there's also a reason why it's not till like 7 or 8 usually, because I'm working and doing stuff. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I enjoy it. It's a hobby. So, but thank you for asking. Are you strictly public defense, or do you get hired for counsel as well? No, I run a law firm. It's a one-man law firm. I take private clients, but like you show up to court, they're going to say, "Hey, Sean, will you take an appointed case while you're here?" And generally speaking, you don't tell the court no. It's never a good idea. And honestly, usually the appointed stuff isn't too bad to deal with. Also, it's never a bad idea to bank up good karma with the courts. Like if the courts ask you for something, you're always like, "Yeah, sure, no big deal." There's going to be a time where you're going to need something, and they'll be like, "Yeah, Sean's a good guy. We'll help him out." You need to get something continued. You need something this, that, or the other. Never hurts to bank your karma. So yeah, like, the problem is though, I mean, for every, all the people out there who can hire attorneys, everybody else, like, there's a ton of people that can't, and the public defender can't defend them all. So, Stacy says we are buying a house, not in New Jersey though. Okay. Let me see here. Let's see. I'm looking here. January 6, 2.0 says, honestly, I don't see any moral reason to not bring back public death penalties. In fact, I see many reasons to. Even Charlie believes. I think so as well. I think people should be, well, there's multiple reasons, but I think the biggest one is people should be forced to see their government in action. If people are out there clamoring for the death penalty and they want tough laws, they should be forced to see the results of that action. Killing a man 350, like in Ohio, killing a man somewhere down in southern Ohio on the Ohio River in Lucasville. No. If you want that man dead, you have to come watch him get hanged. You have to come watch it. You should be forced to see that. And then if you don't want it, well, then good. But if you do want it, you should be forced to watch it, I think. Hydrosphere says it can it weigh heavily on the soul with what you see and deal with? I mean, there's going to be some times where there's like, I mean, if you get involved in children's services cases or like custody stuff, that really gets on you. But the criminal stuff, not really. I mean, it's life, man. You're dealing with people in life. So. DV8 says, why would anyone want to try a capital case? I would have to be very specific. The emotional toll would have to figure in. Well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, some people do, some people don't. At some point, I'd like to be involved in a capital case. I want to test. Part of it is I want to test myself. I want to be, know if I'm on the biggest stage, like, what can I do? How good are my skills? And if I think I'm good enough to help people, I want to help as many people as possible fight the state. So, Sean reminds a person to make society pay for letting him off. Kathy says, I have those clients too. Yeah, it just happens. Well, I'm trying to catch up. You guys are like running like a machine gun here. Let me see. Sarah Boone needs a new lawyer. Yeah, well, she's just annoying. Yeah, Danny Honest talked about how awful family law can get. And that's the thing. When kids are involved, people get really nasty. Mega Dude for 5 Australian dollar doodles left him speechless. So, what time's your second stream? We're going to try 8:30 or so. John Coleman saying, does Andrew's strategy use OSHA have teeth? What do you think of it? I mean, I don't mind, like, this whole cancel culture and caring thing. Am I for it? No. And on a forum I used to be on, it was called A-rocking. Before there was A-logging or doxing, it was called A-rocking. You know, is A-rocking a good thing? I don't know. I mean, it's a battle, so the battle wages on. The battle rages no matter what you want to do. The battle continues whether you fight or not. Do I think diming out people to the government like that? I don't know if I like that, especially the OSHA stuff. Now, these people who are doctors and nurses, and you dime them out, and you know, there's really questions about their character and fitness, and they should be addressed. Yes, but just diming out every person OSHA, I don't know about that. I don't know if it's going to work, but like I said, I don't know if I'm for that. I'm for that. You know, if you want to get people fired, you know, call up an employer and say, hey, you know, your employee's a real big fucking asshole, and they fire the guy. Fine. I just don't know if it should be that way. So, Danny Hardesty says plumbers charge more than some court-appointed rates. I can tell you, there aren't plumbers charging $50 an hour. They're charging a lot more than that, and it's one of the common rates in Ohio, county to county. So, yes, I am the vice president of gay outreach at the Martin Law Office. Yes, I am. I am. Is it an LLP or it's an LLC, not an LLP? If having a one-man partnership would be kind of goofy. So, Kurt, Uncivil Law, how you doing, man? Friend of the show, Kurt over at Uncivil Law says, I don't think I can go to the gym today, which is sad, but I can't breathe completely, and my eyes hurt. Lol, lame. Well, I hope you feel better, man. Feel better. Don't make sure that's nothing serious. Also, breathing, not being able to, you know, having like congestion is one thing, but your eyes hurting. I don't know. What did you do? I hope you didn't do something like, you know, did you get pink eye or something? Hopefully not. Hopefully not. So, we are Sean's hobby. Kind of, yes. Thoughts on Subway sandwiches? They're awful. They're awful. Let's see. I think I got caught up here. I think I got it. Subway bread can't be classified as bread. That too. It's awful. Kurt said you did squats yesterday. Sets with new PRs. Fuck yeah, dude. Congrats. Make those gains. Kurt. Edward Scott says, I'm an ARFCommer. I used to be until I got banned. Many moons ago. Many moons ago. And I had a good account too. And it's gone. Gone now, like 2015 time frame. Used to have one. And they got mad because I said all the FBI, every FBI agent's a piece of shit. So, I'm like, you can't call police mean things. What was your handle? I'm not going to say. What was Nick saying for 19 months? What was your ARFCOM handle? That's not going to say. David Hinkins says just getting banned from ARFCOM means you're cool. Yeah, at this point it is. Makes sense. Forum Sean has been banned from too. A lot more than that. Let me tell you, buddy. Let me tell you that. Kurt says it was 245. Well, that's good stuff, man. Congrats. Hopefully it's more and more and more from there. So bigger, faster, stronger. On ARFCOM, I was on the AK side of things back in the day. Yeah, that was the part I didn't really go to too much. I didn't go there too much. So, all right, chat, we are going to wrap this up. Praytime Soul says, happy birthday to me. It sucks to have a birthday in September. Yeah, but it's like, you know, it could be worse. You could have a birthday in December. So, yes, happy birthday. I'm on my 4th Kiwi Farms account. No, I'm not. Did Sean think a 1022, a 38, and a cell phone is all you need for self-defense? Yes, until somebody, you know, if, you know, somebody else was like trying to get their 338 out, you would wear the rifle plates and you'd take the hits for them. That's, you know, that's the other game plan is, you know, your girlfriend has the 338 rifle and you just take, you block for her until she's ready to shoot. So he said, I can leg press 260. Well, congrats. Vet has been a member for 4 months. Says, think Tyler is the pea shooter. Oh my gosh. Hastru says Sean doesn't appreciate my chats. Well, not everybody's. Missouri Battleflies, yesterday, my birthday, I turned 58. Well, congrats. Happy birthday, man. Here's to another 58 more if you wish to live that long. Here's 58 more. David Hinkins says, with the briefcase at the mall, yes, Gecko 45 was the man. Deviate for $10 says, great stream. See you again, Sean. I'll try to drop in the Willis stream. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. And I hope you're doing well. Yeah, guys, we're going to start at 8:45 here. David Hinkins is Gecko 45. We missed you. Yes. Jim Cox says, I've met most of the Avilas. I've heard they're very nice people. I've heard they're very, very nice people. So, all right, chat. We're going to set the next stream up here. All right, we're going to start this here, 8:35. No, I'm not going to put a thumbnail up yet. I'll do that in a minute. All right, chat, so we are all done. We are going to be ending it here. And I need to switch this over just so I can give you guys the redirect. I hate how YouTube doesn't make this fast for creators. It should just be so much easier. Like, let me redirect the stuff. But don't. They make it hard. They make it so hard. And now it's just like going slow-mo. There we go. All right. So, guys, it's going to redirect you over there. And I will see you guys shortly. Thank you all for being here. And remember, if you guys are new, real quick, you guys can join us every Thursday night at 9:30 Eastern. We cover all kinds of stuff that happened in the news that we didn't get to that might be important or legal related that, just didn't get its own show and, stuff along the way. And obviously there's going to be some Charlie Kirk updates. There's going to be updates about this other stuff, but there's other things we will get to. We will get to them as we get there. So hopefully see you guys there 9:30 Eastern on Thursday night. It's a fun time, I promise. But that's it for now, chat. And, I will see you guys shortly over at the Fannie Willis stream. But remember, until next time, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. Unless you basically walk up to the police station with like all the evidence in your hand, then yeah, you probably are guilty. And I mean, let's be real, this guy probably is guilty. So it's going to be there. Or if you tell the police you got kitty porn on your phone, yeah, you're probably guilty. You're probably guilty. So, well, that's it. Good night, chat. And I will see you guys in a little while. Take care.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. But please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy?